Are you blocking reality?
This is Love Smarter, the show for women who want extraordinary love and aren't afraid to learn for it. Here's your host, Laurie-Anne King.
In today's episode, we're going to take a look at whether or not you are really dealing with reality and how much time you might waste not dealing with reality. The inspiration for this episode comes from a time when I used to do improv. If you don't know what improv is, it's basically a series of games and competitions where people compete on improv troupes and they make up the scene as they go along. It used to be a popular show called Whose Line Is It Anyway? That was all improv games. Now, improv is a fantastic metaphor for both life and love because it's unpredictable. You have to learn how to just go with the flow. The first rule of improv, and the thing that makes it work, is called no blocking. Blocking is when you deny the reality that the other person in the scene with you is trying to create. Say, for example, John and Jen are in a scene, and John says, "Hey, look, a cat." And Jen says, "That's not a cat." That's an example of blocking. John is trying to create a new scene, a new reality, and say there's a cat here, and Jen is denying its existence. Now, this is part of what makes improv so hilarious. It takes these unexpected twists and turns because it's not going according to any one person's plan. It is a co-creation, just like life, just like a relationship. It doesn't go according to just my plan or just your plan. It's a co-creation, and it's newly created in every moment. So we run into trouble when we start blocking. If we could take this one simple rule of improv and apply it to our life and our love life, things would go a whole lot smoother. So what really happens in life? Let's say life gives us a cat. We spend our time saying, "No, I don't want a cat. I didn't ask for that cat. This is totally unfair. And even if I did want a cat, I wouldn't want that cat. I want a black cat. And this cat is yellow. It's the wrong cat. I don't want a cat. Gosh, this cat is ruining my life. I wish I could go back to the time before I got that cat." Now, maybe if you're lucky or hedonic adaptation eventually sets in, you will return to that baseline level of happiness that you were at before you got the cat. But in the meantime, it's a lot of suffering and a lot of wasted energy. But life doesn't usually give us cats, unless you're my husband and you marry me and I already have a cat, so the cat comes with me and you might not have been expecting the cat. Usually life serves up car accident, lies, betrayal, breakups, disappointments. Now, I don't mean to be pessimistic, and I'm really not. I'm quite the optimist. It's just these negative events, the things we perceive as negative, are often the things we block. We don't have so much trouble accepting the positive things that are happening in our life. In your romantic life, your blocking might sound something like, "You should have done this," or "You should have not done that." It's more of a reflecting on what the person should or shouldn't have done that would fit your ideal mold of reality. When we block reality, we get stuck there, and we start to waste our time and our energy on futile resistance. Now, I say that this resistance is futile because often we're trying to block something that has already happened, right? In the example of, "You shouldn't have said that," well, it's already been said. The reality is clear. The thing was already said. Now, how much more time are you going to spend blocking that it's already happened? When we put our energy into fighting against what is already so, what has already happened, it's being a little bit crazy. And it doesn't produce the kind of results we want. Because like the saying says, what you resist persists. Now, I'm not saying that you should settle or tolerate things that you don't want in your life. What I am saying is that in order for a situation or a problem to be solved, it can only be solved in the present moment. You can't go back in time and solve it then. So spending your time blocking the reality of what's already happened in the past is a total waste of time. Now, denial is maybe another word for blocking. And denial has been proven to be one of the 5 stages of grief. And it's important if you're going through a grief process to allow yourself to go through the whole process. But if what you're grieving is a minor infliction, come on, let's go. Move ahead. We don't want to waste our time and our lives and our energy fighting against things that have already happened. So what can we do instead of blocking? Well, let's borrow this from a rule that's very common in brainstorming. So in brainstorming, the whole purpose is to generate new ideas, new possibilities. And one thing that really limits brainstorming is to basically do blocking, the same thing as in improv. Anytime you say, no, that won't work because of X, or that's a bad idea because of Y, you're restricting the capacity to dream and to create. So in brainstorming, there's a great trick called yes and. And you use yes and whenever someone comes up with an idea that a part of you says, oh, that won't work because, well, now instead of condemning or shrinking the idea, your job is to build on it, to use your imagination to find the solution around it. So you would say, yes, and we could also do blah, 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 to deal with the limitation that you'd thought of. So blocking simply wastes time. It puts you in a fight with reality. Blocking is like the equivalent of dropping your favorite rubber ducky. Yes, for the purpose of this metaphor, you have a favorite rubber ducky. Blocking is like dropping that precious rubber ducky in the river. And instead of running downstream to try and catch it, you're stuck, standing there, staring into the river in disbelief and feeling frustrated with yourself for dropping it. It's getting you no closer to any kind of solution or any kind of result. When you're in a fight with reality, reality has a funny way of winning. You also miss out on opportunities that are presented by this new reality. Okay, so things aren't going according to your plan. Well, maybe your plan wasn't that great after all. Maybe there's something better in store for you. I believe that the universe inspires on our behalf. I believe that the universe conspires on our behalf, and that life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. There's always new gifts present in this new reality. Okay, it might be uncomfortable, it might not be what you would have chosen for yourself, but this is the reality. And here's the new opportunity to say yes. And here's what I want. Yes. And here's what I'm going to do about it. Yes. And here's why I'm going to change the course of action. How much time do you waste in your relationship suffering over fighting with reality? If something has already happened, then it's real. It happened the way that it happened. And accepting how it happened, accepting what happened is the first step to actually being able to change the present and change the future. Fighting over or punishing someone for what they shouldn't have done in the first place doesn't indicate or guarantee any kind of better result in the present. And the present's the only thing that we actually have any influence over. So how much time are you wasting fighting with the reality of the past? How much time are you spending stuck in the wrongdoings of the past? Can you let go of them? Can you accept that they happened the way that they happened and then choose a new course of action so that the future looks different, so that the present moment feels different? Take a look at your life. Take a look at your love. What are you blocking? Where can you embrace reality and then create something new that you love, that excites you, that lights you up? What can you say yes and to? I'm Laurie-Anne King, and until next time, love smarter. Hey, did you like this episode? Then you will love my upcoming live online class. You'll leave with insights that improve your love life immediately. Plus, you'll have the chance to ask me anything. This class is completely free and it always fills up quickly, so head on over to laking.tv/free class to register right now. See you in class!